I'm going to speak from a citizen, not a scientist, because I'm going to talk about the coronavirus, but I'm not an expert on it. We have more cases of the coronavirus and we have more deaths than many other nations. And I know there's people that complain about not being able to go to church during this time. Well, as someone who is a pastor, I have to say that I think that's a little selfish to actually be mad that uh, to actually think that we should have our church open, to have a church service. Anybody should have a church service. I think you're being selfish during this time when, I mean, even in my state alone, this virus, we're getting like 100 people with the coronavirus a day in my state. And our state, South Dakota, is not one of the most populated states. You know, the what it spread just. I mean, when we started not having church, there was like 5 or 6 people that had the coronavirus in our state, literally back in March. Now, we're going to be up to 1,600 pretty soon. So I think if a church would have services, I think it'd be very, very selfish because people would come and congregate. And if someone was a carrier of this virus, well, they would spread it around their congregation, and then guess what? They're going to go back to their neighborhood. They're going to go back to their jobs. Jesus said, and I give you this command, to love. Friends, we're not showing love if we're not showing any degree of care on how we can stop our brothers and sisters from getting the coronavirus. Everyone has to make sacrifices, and my heart wants to worship. But please don't complain about the church being closed. Only God knows some things, and I hate to make predictions because I'm not a prophet. But I can't see this going really that much further. But we need to stop being in the area where every day there's significant increases in the number of the viruses. Like I was saying, almost every day it seems like there's like 100 more now in our state. How can we? Why should any church in our state meet if our state's increasing by like 100? Now, hopefully, when May starts, it'll be less than that. But I think it's a way that you're showing love and compassion and care to your community. Churches that are going to be like, well, I'm going to worship, it is my way or the highway, and I don't care who gets sick, we're going to worship. You're being very, very selfish and self-centered. And I don't think that type of attitude is blessing to God. Now, I know some people really miss going to church. I miss being with my church body. I miss having service. I miss Bible studies probably even more because I love Bible studies. I miss our life groups at church. But remember this, and I think this is a piece of evidence of why this isn't some evil plan going on, is that places that profit off of sin, like bars, like gambling establishments, like strip clubs, like adult video stores, places like that, they're closed too. So it's just not good places are closed, bad places are closed also. So that's why I don't think this is some evil plan by someone that's just directing churches. I mean, the NBA hasn't decided whether they're going to continue with their season or not. College basketball March Madness canceled. I mean, do you know how much money's in all that? So this isn't targeting church. I think the third point I want to make is if you're someone that you miss going to church and maybe perhaps your church attendance hasn't been very good, or maybe it has been very good but not as good as it could be, and now you lost the ability to actually go to church, I think you should use this time to see how grateful you should be that God allows us to live in a nation where most of the time we can go to church on a regular basis without fear of persecution. So when churches do open their doors, when the coronavirus dies down, let us show our gratefulness to that gift. There's people in other countries where the church doors are supposed to be shut all the time and they get beaten. They risk getting beat and shot if they go to church. Us in America, we don't have that type of persecution with us. But still, I wanted to say that let us be grateful for what God provides. I think so often we just aren't grateful. God allows us, in our nation, if we don't have a Bible, it's our own fault. In other countries, do you know, I read how Russia was, Christianity in Russia was 30 or 40 years ago, well, more like 40 years ago. What a Christian would do for a Bible there. And in America, the average person has what, 3 or 4? So when church is open, let us show how grateful we are by actually going to church more. And let's be more involved than just going for Sunday worship. If your church is like my church, then you have a Bible study, you have life groups, you have different things you can go to. One of my pet peeves is people that say, well, church doesn't offer very much, but they only go to worship service. Those people shouldn't have no right to talk about what the church offers if they don't go to anything. But that's a different topic, and wasn't planning on saying that, but I taped this video too long to stop recording it. Sometimes doing these videos, you get like a couple minutes into the video, and then you say something that you shouldn't say, and then you have to pause it and then start over again, and well, luckily I didn't do that this time. But I would say that preaching one sermon once a week is a lot easier than making these videos, and I hope you guys appreciate them. God bless you.